is Niharika and welcome to a new lesson. Today we are going to look at some vocabulary related to an aircraft and while you are aboard. Now most of us have been on an aircraft before and there are times when we get a little confused to use the right words. Now of course all the international airlines, the staff of the international airlines speak English. So it's important for us to know the right words, right? So in this lesson, I'm going to help you with the same. Let's have a look here. The first one is to board or to embark. Now, of course, when we are traveling by air, the first thing after you have checked in and after you've gone through your immigration process, the first thing that you do is you board an aircraft, right? Especially when you hear these announcements at the airport when they say that the flight so-and-so is ready to board. So this means that you are ready to go on the aircraft, okay? So you begin your process to enter the aircraft. So that is to board or to embark, okay? Then we have cabin. Now, the moment you enter the aircraft, you see the cabin. The cabin is the interiors of the aircraft. Okay, so it's the interior of an aircraft. Then we have a flight attendant. So when you enter the aircraft, there's this beautiful girl who welcomes you with a big smile and says, "Welcome aboard." So this lady is the flight attendant, okay? So she is the one, and other crew members are the people who are going to help the passengers during the flight, okay? So they will be there for your assistance. So they have different words, of course, commonly called as flight attendants. The girls, okay, are called air hostess, whereas the men are called stewards, okay? And they're also called as cabin crew. Okay, so they are the ones who help the passengers during a flight. Now we also have aisle. So after the lady has welcomed you, the first thing that you see in the aircraft is the aisle. Aisle is the open space that you walk through to find your seats, okay? And in any aircraft, you have a window seat and you have an aisle seat. Okay, so the window seat is of course the seat next to the window. Especially children would often go for window seats because they like seeing out of the window, right? Now, of course, we have aisle seats also. So the long passage in between the rows, now of course you have aisle rows in a theater, in a supermarket and in aircrafts, okay? So it's the long passage that you walk through. So the seats next to the aisle are called as aisle seats, okay? So many people prefer aisle seats, right? And of course we also have middle seats in an aircraft. If it's a huge aircraft, then we have middle seats also, which usually I don't prefer because it's not too comfortable, okay? So these are the types of seats that you have on an aircraft. Now let's have a look here. We have overhead bin. Now overhead bin are these compartments where you can store your carry-on luggage, okay? So you have these laptop bags or your small carry-on bags that you carry when you walk into the aircraft. So you are supposed to store this in the overhead cabin, okay? So it's right above your seats. Okay, so these are called as overhead bins or overhead compartments, okay? Then let's have a look here. We have galley. Now galley is a place where all your meals are stored, okay? The flight attendants prepare or they heat the meals that are to be served to the passengers, okay? So that is called as a galley. And we also have a cockpit. Of course, cockpit is the most important part of the aircraft. It's the control room for the pilots. So the pilots and of course the pilot and the co-pilot, they sit in the cockpit in order to control the aircraft. Okay, it's really interesting. As a kid, I used to be really inquisitive to go see what's there in the cockpit. It's just so bright and several buttons. It's really interesting. So that's a cockpit. And of course, we have the pilot and a co-pilot. They're also called as captains. Okay, so they are the ones who control or who fly your aircraft. Okay, so they are the ones who take all the risk. Okay, of course, aircrafts are risky. I mean, at least I find them a little risky. So they are the people who take care, who fly the airplanes. Okay, so pilot is the main captain, and whereas the co-pilot is the assistant to the pilot, right? So these are the things that you would see in an aircraft. And now let's have a look at some more vocabulary. So now let's have a look at some more vocabulary here. We have taxing. Now, what is taxing? Now, many a times you might have seen on the screens at the airports that the flight is taxing. Flight so and so is taxing. So what exactly it means? Well, it means that the aircraft is slowly moving on the ground, okay, and goes to the right position, the right area, especially to take off. Okay, so the flight moves around the air on the ground and it goes the runway. Okay, so that is taxing out. Now, taxing in is when the flight lands, okay, and then it moves around the airport on the ground and comes to a position where people can disembark, okay, well, people can deboard the flight, right? So that is taxing. Now we have takeoff. Now, once the aircraft reaches the runway, it's all ready to take off, okay, so it catches real high speed and it goes and starts flying. It just leaves the ground, the wheels leave the ground, so that is a takeoff. And many people go through motion sickness, okay, they really feel sick to their stomach, right, they feel like puking, or they just feel really dizzy, so that is called as motion sickness. In fact, many children also go through that. And you might have also experienced wherein your ears pop in and pop out, right? So it just kind of, you can't hear things. So that is also related to motion sickness, okay? Then we have to cruise. Now, once the flight is taken off, okay, it's in the air, it tries to get at a higher altitude, okay? And once it is at a steady speed, the plane starts cruising, okay, and that is when you would hear the signals wherein you can unfasten your seat belts, okay, you can move around, you can use the washrooms, okay, so that is when the plane is flying at a steady speed. So this means that the plane is cruising, okay. Then we have turbulence. Now, you know, at times the plane really gets a little shaky, okay, and I usually get really scared when the plane does that, okay, so it gets very bumpy. So you would hear the pilot announcing that we are experiencing some turbulence, so please get back on your seat and fasten your seat belts, okay. So what is turbulence? Now, turbulence is when the winds are not smooth, okay, they're really chaotic, they're really rough. So that is when the plane gets really bumpy. So the right word to use is that the plane is experiencing turbulence, okay. Then we have a call light. Call light is the small button which is on above your seat, okay, on the top. That is used when you need some assistance, okay? So once you press that, the cabin crew or the flight attendant would come for your assistance, okay? So that is called as the call light. We have flight entertainment. Flight entertainment is, you know, we have these small LCD screens. Many aircrafts, especially long distance flights, do offer flight entertainment. Okay, we have these small screens on the back of the seats in front of you. Okay, and you can play music. You do receive headsets. Okay, you can ask for headsets from the flight attendants, and you can use this in order to listen to music or play some movies. Okay, so that's called flight entertainment. We also have refreshments. Refreshments are usually provided to the passengers in short distance flights. These are drinks and snacks, okay? They are not full meals, okay? So it's just maybe like a sandwich or maybe just like a small burger, okay? So and with a drink, okay? So those are called as refreshments, okay? They are not the full meals that are served. And then the last one that we have is touchdown. So after your whole journey, of course, we are ready to land, okay? So that is when again the flight attendant would request you to fasten your seat belts, right? And when they are ready to land. So touchdown is basically when the flight lands, okay, the wheels touch the ground. So you would, hear passengers saying, oh, it was such a smooth touchdown. So this means it was such a smooth landing. So these are certain words that you should know when you are traveling by an aircraft. So the next time you are taking a flight, hope this vocabulary session is helpful to you. I will see you soon in your next lesson. Till then, you take care and have a great day.